Good morning. What do you think of that? Any surprises there? No? A couple? Yeah, a few? Yeah. I'm not surprised by the data in that video because I know that this space is moving at such a rapid pace. But what I do find surprising sometimes, or just a little bit challenging, is just keeping up with the pace of change, because it's moving at such a rapid pace, and every day there's something a little bit new that comes out. Anyway, there's some great data in that video, and I'm going to be referring to that throughout today's presentation. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Taylor, and on behalf of the team of realestate.com.au, thank you very much for having me here today in beautiful Sydney. It's my 5th time here as a part of the Roadshow, so thanks for inviting me back again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my intention today to take on a little bit of a journey. I want to look at some of the ways that we can maximise some of the opportunities that come from this change, whether it be change in technology, change in people's behaviours, and change in social media. In particular around ways that can help you attract more customers, help you win more listings and improve your overall conversion rate. And we're going to deep dive in terms of the wholesaler's journey, as well as some ways to help you maximise the all-important social media, in particular around reviews and recommendations. Sound like a good way to spend the next sort of 20, 25 minutes? Yep, cool. We'll kick it off now. Before I sort of go into the main body of the presentation, I just want to take a couple of steps back and have a bit of a look at where we are today. Because as I mentioned, this space is moving at such a rapid pace, and there is just so much continual change. Now, probably the 3 biggest changes that I've experienced over the last 3, 4, 5 years are around personalisation, on-demand, and mobile devices. So in terms of personalisation, I'm sure you'll all agree, it's just information overload out there. There's so much information out there and so many places to find it. So we now want information that's personal to us, that's relevant to us, that's targeted to us, and that's customised to us. And if you can really master that, you're going to open up some enormous opportunities, in particular around attracting customers. In terms of on-demand, I think you saw in that video, we've got the attention span less than a goldfish. We're incredibly busy, incredibly time poor. Uber rate us the most demanding people on this planet. So therefore, we want information when we want it. And if we don't get it, we'll move on and find someone who can actually provide it. So again, you can master that, it will open up some enormous opportunities. In terms of mobile and mobile devices, where I've probably seen the biggest change, an incredibly powerful tool that we carry in our pocket. You can have FaceTime with someone on the other side of the globe via our mobile device. Don't know if you remember the old Nokia where we used to play the snake about 12, 15 years ago. Those days have gone. You can go shopping now with the mobile phone. No longer need to take your wallet. And many of the household appliances that you have in your home, you can now control via apps on your mobile device. So an incredibly powerful tool and only getting more powerful. In fact, I was reading an interesting article the other week when I was off in Coffs Harbour on the Roadshow that they are so powerful, the mobile phones we can have in our pocket. Not only can they run a small business, but they're more powerful than all the supercomputers used to launch the Apollo spacecraft to the moon back in the late 1960s. And they're only getting more powerful. What else do we love doing on mobile and mobile devices? Well, we love watching video, we love streaming, we love YouTube, we love Netflix. We also love using them for social media, engaging and interacting with our friends and family. In fact, Australians absolutely love Facebook, as well as a few of the others. I'm going to talk about the others, not just about Facebook today. There's about 17 million Australians that have an active Facebook account. So it's just about everybody over the age of 13 years of age. And in my mind, no faster way of getting a positive brand message out there than social media, and it's absolutely free. Hang on a minute, it was free. And I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit throughout today's presentation. But just to show you the size of this space, the enormity of it, and the importance that we need to place on it as business owners, I'm just going to sort of do a bit of a case study. But would anyone like to have a guess what the worldwide audience of Facebook is? Worldwide. Any guesses?
3.8 billion.
Sorry? Awesome. Yep, pretty close. I know where you're heading with that. 2 billion. What about YouTube? World's 2nd largest search engine. Anyone want to have a guess of YouTube, the audience worldwide? Sorry?
12.
Yeah, pretty close. 1.5 billion. Instagram? He's going to have to work with me on this. Anyone have a guess of Instagram? Owned by Facebook?
1 billion.
Yeah, 800 million for Instagram. So, many of these social media platforms have bigger audiences than most countries out there. So, just to sort of show you the enormity of this space. And if we're not putting a substantial amount of our energies in there, we're missing out on some amazing opportunities. Just to bring it a little bit closer to home, I just want to show you what happens every minute on the internet. So in the time it takes me to present this slide, or the next 60 seconds, there'll be over 900,000 Facebook logins. There'll be over 4.3 million YouTube video views and about, I think, about 46,000 Instagram photo uploads and 1 million Tinder swipes. Anyone here on Tinder? Anyone want to own up there on Tinder? Yeah, well, they say, 1 in 5 Australians over the age of 18 years of age is on Tinder. So statistically speaking, I always get that wrong. Someone's not owning up to that. Anyway, enough about Tinder. But I just want to show you the enormity of this space. Now, you can either love social media or you can hate it. But hopefully from today, I'll give you some inspiration that you can embrace it and love it, because they collect an enormous amount of data on us. They know where we've been. They know where we are today. And they know where we want to go before we even do in some cases. They know our lifestyles. They know our behaviour. They know our buying and purchasing habits, in particular for real estate. So it's an incredibly powerful tool to help you attract customers. Now I'm just going to show you a photo of one of my colleagues, Brian, who's standing up the back here, who gave me this great photo, which really resonated with me in terms of the power of social media. So, young cadet started his career at Facebook not so long ago. Got to meet his hero, Mark Zuckerberg, and he goes, "Mark, my father tells me that you guys are spying on us." Pretty relevant, hey? And Mark goes, "Mate, he's not your father." So I think it goes to show, the power of social media. Love it or hate it, if you truly embrace it, it will open up some enormous opportunities. How? It can definitely help you attract more customers. Now, before I sort of talk about some strategies around that, I want to have a little bit of a look in terms of the seller's journey. Because our data suggests, we collect an enormous amount of data, but our data suggests that up to 65% of all sellers are spending 6 months or up to 6 months researching before they actively engage you guys here in the room as an agent. The staggering statistic is that 35% are spending 6 months or more researching before they're engaging you guys here in the room. So what are they doing? Well, they're researching, they're exploring, they're investigating, they're searching, they're analysing, they're comparing. They're looking for as much information as they can to help them with their property journey. While it's an incredibly exciting time, it's an incredibly nervous and stressful time, unless you're selling on a regular basis, which is not most people. So what are they looking for? They want information to help them with their property journey. They're doing the 24/7 Google digital interview. They're Google stalking you. They're researching. They're looking for information in terms of what my house might be worth, what's happening in the local marketplace, what's clearance rates, what's the best method for sale, how to prepare my house for sale or how to prepare it for auction, who's the best agent for my type of property. So they're trying to gather as much information as they can to help them in their property journey. What are some of the ways you can attract? Well, definitely social media is a great tool to help you connect with that audience or those customers while they're in that research phase. I'm going to talk to you about a case study from an agent on the Central Coast, Matt Steinwade. When I was researching this, I saw many great social media profiles, but Matt sort of resonated with me. He lives on the Central Coast, my hometown, so we got a couple of brownie points for that. But there were many great social media platforms, profiles out there by agents. I just decided to go with Matt. The thing I like about Matt is he's not just focusing on Facebook. Matt's got a strong Facebook account. He's got an incredible Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, realestate.com.au agent profile. In fact, all roads from an internet perspective lead to Matt. And, just a show of hands, who's got a Facebook account, an active business Facebook account? Put up your hand, don't be shy. Yeah, just about everyone. Leave it up for me. I want you to leave it up if you've also got an Instagram account that promotes you, your brand and your business. What about a LinkedIn account? Keep it up if you've still got one. Twitter? Drop it down if you don't have one. YouTube channel. So as you saw, we started off with quite a lot of people on Facebook. It diminished as we move forward. Hopefully from today, we'll get some ideas in terms of not just being strong on Facebook, but making sure your brand is consistent across all platforms, which Matt does really well. Now, I went and had a coffee with Matt. I sort of said to Matt, Matt, why do you invest so much time, energy and money in terms of social media? And Matt said to me, look, and this was before I told him any of the data I had. He said, Derek, I know that there are potential new customers out there that are researching and looking for information before they actively engage me on my team. I'm just trying to connect with them, provide them information that's relevant to them, and I use social media as one of my main platforms to do that. And I'm hoping that by the time they get to the stage where they're ready to actively engage an agent, I'm part of the equation. So I think that sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So hopefully from today, a little bit of inspiration in terms of what Matt does, you might want to implement in terms of your business. So check Matt out when you leave here today. But it's not just about attracting customers. You know, what are some of the ways that you can improve your overall conversion rate and be selected more often? Well, I guess to really understand that, you've got to understand a little bit more in terms of how do sellers actually choose an agent. Now, would anyone like to have a guess in terms of what's the number one criteria for a potential seller in terms of selecting an agent? Anyone want to have a bit of a guess?
Most number of sales.
Most number of sales, awesome. Anything else? Sorry? Awesome, recommendation?
Personality.
Personality?
Local area.
Yeah, local experience?
The number of listings.
Yep, awesome, and they're all right. Our data though suggests trust. Trust is the number one criteria in terms of selecting an agent. Does that surprise anyone? No? I think you get trust right, all the others will fall into place. So, there are the other results there. So trust by far. So what are some of the things you can do to help build trust? Harvard Business say that if you want to build trust with potential new customers, there's 3 things you need to nail. Relevance, consistency, and frequency. So in terms of relevance, it's providing potential sellers with the information they want to help them with their property journey. Remember we spoke about that at the beginning, how to prepare your house for sale, what's happening in the market, what their property might be worth. Relevant information. In terms of frequency, Harvard Business also say that you need to have a minimum of 13 touch points with a person before you start to build trust. That's a minimum. And if we think of Matt, you know, Matt's sort of philosophy is if he doesn't touch them on Facebook, he'll touch them on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, at an auction, at an open for inspection, in his print campaigns. He's got a strategy around that to make sure he's quite active and he's got multiple touch points. Ticks the frequency. In terms of consistency, and I'll go back to Matt again, you know, he's incredibly professional and polished across all social media platforms. His brand is consistent. When I was researching for today's presentation, I saw many great LinkedIn profiles, but when I got to Facebook or Instagram, a couple sort of got a little bit different. I guess I'm not sure whether sellers want to know what you're up to at sort of 12 o'clock on a Saturday morning at the local nightclub, if you sort of get my drift. So if you want to have that type of content, maybe have a personal profile as well as a business profile in terms of your overall brand, and you can set that up across all of those platforms. Rightio, so we're going to have a little team activity here. I just want to get the energy levels raised and get those endorphins flowing. So I'm going to have 60 seconds. What I want you to do is in the next 60 seconds, and I'll play a little bit of music, I want you to turn to the person beside you. And I want you to talk about what are some of the things you could do today, as soon as you leave here, implement in your business to help build trust with potential new customers using social media. Okay, 60 seconds, let's go. Turn to the person beside, share some ideas. Great sports. Would anyone like to share anything that they talked about with the person during that in terms of building trust? Anyone like to share anything? Yes?
Sponsoring communities within your region.
Awesome, and promoting that on social media. Love that one. There you go, little gift for you. Oh, as soon as I bring out the toys. Yes, sorry, gentlemen here.
Testimonials and third party endorsements.
Awesome, testimonials. They're great on social media. Thank you. Reviews and recommendations. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And up the back, I'm going to go one. I'm going to give the.
Can we talk less about the look at me focus on social media, but more engaging content with relevant information that consumers are actually after?
Awesome. Yeah, relevant information, not the selfie in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, exactly.
Or in your swim costume. There you go. Well done. Thank you. Rightio. Great sports. Thank you. So, but it's not just about building trust. It's not just about building trust. It's also about understanding your target market and your customer base. Now, I know many of you have been in the real estate industry for a number of years, so without doubt, you intimately know your customers and your target market. But the one I want to talk to you about today is the rise of the millennial. Why? Well, as we saw in the video, 50% of the world's population is now under 30 years of age. So if millennials are not an important part of your audience or your target market today, they will be in the not so distant future. What are some of the things that you can do to engage with millennials? Any millennials here in the room? Oh, sitting up the back. I've got about 5 seconds to grab their attention or I'm toast. Have I got your attention? Yeah, I gotta get the nod. Anyway, so Malcolm, good to see you. Thanks. Sorry, I haven't seen Malcolm for a long time. Anyway, put me off track there. Anyway, so millennials, they were born between 1980 and 1995. So it makes them about 30, 35 years of age, give or take a couple of years either side. They grew up in the technology era, so they love researching online. They don't like to pick up the phone and ask a question. They'll keep searching until they find the information they want. So really important you know that. They grew up in a time where it was you know, it was pretty groovy to go down to Video Easy with mum and dad and hire the video. But today in their lives, it's all about video. It's all about Netflix, you know, YouTube. So if they can't live stream it, you're toast. So you've got to make sure video is an important part of your strategy. The attention span of a goldfish, which I mentioned before, if you don't engage them in the first 5 seconds or 10 seconds, again, you're going to miss out. So you've got to put some different thought in terms of your creative. Again, because they grew up in a technology era, they love social media, in particular reviews and recommendations. In fact, 90% of millennials value peer recommendations in making a purchase decision. So it's an incredibly powerful tool, an important part of your strategy moving forward. What are some of the things you can do in terms of building reviews and recommendations? I'm going to see what my slide is next. Thank you. Simple. All you need to do is ask. Who asks every one of their customers, whether it be sales or rent, for a review on social media? Everyone. If you're honest, put up your hand. Yeah. What would be great next year is if everybody in the room puts up their hand, because it's an incredibly powerful tool and all you need to do is ask. Great example is one of my colleagues who happens to be here today, who's taught me a lot over the last 12 months, is Stephen Roberts. Now, Stephen sold his property, if I get this right, about 18 months ago. If I get it wrong, don't tell me, Steve. And at the end of selling the property, the agent went to Stephen and said, Stephen, were you delighted with the level of service and the outcome? And Stephen said, yep, not a problem. It was fantastic. The agent actually said to Stephen, would you give me a review on Facebook? Big tick. Stephen said, not a problem. Happy to do so. Stephen grabbed his family. He went outside with his camera, took a photo in front of the signboard, as you can see there, came back in. He then posted it up on Facebook. He tagged the agent in. Fantastic for the agent, because in terms, he was tagged in. So nothing better than a testimonial from a customer for your existing network to continue to build brand strength and brand trust. Remember, all this is free. So, you know, fantastic. But what the agent was after, he wanted more customers like Stephen. So it was a lead gen tool for him because he knew Stephen was happy. If that went out to 300 or so of Stephen's friends, what a great tool to be able to attract new customers using the internet. And interestingly enough, I think about 3 months ago, one of Stephen's friends who commented on that post actually re-engaged the agent to sell their property about 3 months ago. So true story, and he was a millennial. So an incredibly powerful tool. So hopefully next year everyone's putting their hand up. It's one of the few things that are free in terms of social media these days. So please, just all you got to do is ask. What are some of the other ways you can create story-worthy moments? Well, I think through the use of video and video content. Video is incredibly powerful. You know, in terms of the internet, about 80% of all internet usage these days come from video. We talked about how important it is in terms of millennials. Some of the ways, the thing about video is it's quite visual. Visual helps, it's quite emotive, and emotion helps build brand strength and brand trust, which we spoke about the importance of that earlier in terms of attracting and winning new customers. A couple of ways I've seen video work really well, and I'm going to go back. There we go. Here we go. A couple of ways I've seen it work really well in terms of video content is at an auction, at an open for inspection, or giving a local market update or tips to help potential new sellers in terms of selling their property. And it's very easy to use. It's also an amazing lead gen tool if you think about it, similar to that case study on the Facebook review. This is a video of Gavin Rubenstein from Ray White Double Bay. It's an amazing video. But you know, one of the ways you could use this type of video is simply, whether you were to produce it yourself, is to simply go to the vendor and say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we want to make sure we maximise the best possible chance of getting as many interested buyers. Would you mind sharing this video that I've produced for you on your social media networks? And you know, generally most vendors will say yes, not a problem, because they want to make sure that they cast the net as far and wide as they can. Now again, it's like a testimonial. It will go out to your vendor's network. They'll tag you in, so great for your existing customers, but also it'll help put you in contact with, so it's a lead gen tool with customers similar to the one you've got. So video can be an amazing tool to help you win new listings, and incredibly powerful and great in terms of social media usage afterwards. What are some of the other tools you can use that are free? And I'm going to talk about some of the paid ones in a moment in terms of building brand strength and brand trust. Facebook and Instagram Live. Anyone here using Facebook and Instagram Live? You can do live also on Instagram. Anyone using it? Awesome. So a few. Again, great next year if everybody's using it. Before I sort of go any further, let's got a short video to play. What do you think of that? Did you notice anything different about that sort of video? Did you think it was quite engaging? exciting, emotive. You know, it's quite visual. That's the power of Facebook Live. It really engages with your audience. You can engage with your existing audience, but it'll also help you grow your current audience more organically, which is incredibly hard to do these days on social media platforms. So if you're not using Facebook or Instagram Live, give some thought when you leave here today. Pretty easy to do. Again, where I've seen it work really well is at auctions, open for inspections, or just giving market updates, or providing relevant information for potential new sellers to help them with their journey. A couple of tips in terms of best practice around Facebook or Instagram Live is make sure you have a really good description before you go live. That's important, just to inform your audience what the live broadcast is about. It also helps in terms of the overall search for people who are not part of your following, so it can draw them in as well. Make sure you've got a really strong connection. That's really important. I went live from Newcastle the other week. Didn't have a great reception, and people thought I had a big night on the town. I don't even drink. So, make sure, great reception, very important. And finally, engage with your audience. Really important. Make sure it's not one-dimensional. You know, as people opt into your live broadcast, say hello. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Darren. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us. Have you got any questions? Really engage with them. And that just helps in terms of your overall broadcast. But it's a pretty powerful tool and one that's free. In terms of that. The next one I want to talk to you about is Instagram stories. Okay, I love Instagram stories. It's also on Facebook. Anyone here using it as a part of their marketing in terms of their listings? Awesome. Again, next year it'd be great if everyone was putting their hand up. It's quite engaging. It's very visual. Instagram stories, the way I sort of see it working, and again, it's also on Facebook, is that it complements your overall marketing campaign. It is creating a story for that particular property or your brand or whatever you're actually wanting, the message you want to communicate. But imagine having a listing up on realestate.com.au and also having that same listing promoted on Facebook or Instagram. This takes it to a whole new level where you can create a story about a particular property. And it is prime real estate. As you see there, Stories appears at the top of the feed on both Instagram and Facebook. Now, we all want to be at the front of the newspaper. We all want to be at the top of the search for realestate.com.au. You want to be at the top of your social media platform. Use stories because it's prime real estate. It helps you engage with your audience. So as I mentioned, it complements your overall campaign. So you might have a spectacular property, and today, because they only appear for 24 hours, you might want to talk about a bedroom. Tomorrow, you might want to add to that story and talk about the unique kitchen. The next day, you might want to add to that story and talk about the pool outside. It allows you to bring to life the property that you have in an incredibly different way. You can also do some amazing things with emojis, with filters, with text. Try it when you leave here today to help complement your overall campaign. And again, it's one of the few things that's free. It also helps in terms of growing your audience organically. Again, it's incredibly hard to grow a social media audience organically, but this is one of the tools, because when people view your story, not only can you see who's viewed it from your current following, you can also see who's viewed it that's not part of your network, and you can simply send them a follow request. So it's a great way of growing your audience. Next one I want to talk to you about, and this is the final one, is social media and internet retargeting. This is the paid side guys, and in terms where you're going to have to start allocating a budget, but it's an incredibly powerful tool. So the old way that we used to market ourselves, we'd put our listings in the newspaper, and potential buyers, or even sellers that matter, would buy the newspaper, get it for free, and they'd have a look for their listings. They'd search for their listings. The more recent way, which we have today, is your listings will go on the major portals, realestate.com.au, and again, people will search out those listings. But in terms of the future, not only is it important to have top priority in terms of realestate.com.au, but you've also got to make sure you've got a retargeting campaign. You want to continue on the conversation with customers you've already attracted after they've left realestate.com.au. Put it in perspective, the average person spends about 55 minutes a month on our site, but they spend 60 plus hours on the internet. So as I mentioned, you want to continue the conversation when they've left realestate.com.au and they're on their journey. Social media will help retarget that. But not only will they retarget your customers that have they've been attracted to you, but you can also retarget those that have been attracted to some of your competitors' listings. It's not only great for moving listings, but in terms of attracting new customers, it's an incredibly powerful tool. Remember, we spoke earlier about how the internet collects all our data. They know where we've been, where we are today, and where we want to go, and what we might want to do. As soon as we start thinking about wanting to sell our property or buy, it's there. Retargeting is an incredibly powerful tool. Don't have a lot of time today to go into it, but if you need help, see my team at realestate.com.au, your account manager. They'd be more than happy to help you out. A couple of little tips. So we talked about the importance in terms of social media, and that not just have all your eggs on Facebook, which is what most people tend to do because it was the main social media platform that sort of everyone got on board on. But you want to make sure you've got the same consistent brand and message across Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. But sometimes that can be a bit challenging because they don't like to talk to each other. Instagram's owned by Facebook. That's pretty easy. They talk to each other, but they don't like the other platforms. So there's some tools out there that you can actually subscribe to. Hootsuite, Sprout Local, they're platforms that will integrate all your social media campaigns. So put it in simple terms, you can basically go into Hootsuite, put up your campaign, you can schedule a time and a date you want it to go out to all social media platforms. Very simple, efficient, stress-free, and there's a small monthly subscription. Not associated with realestate.com.au, but I have used these platforms and they're pretty cool. So try that when you leave here today. In terms of realestate.com.au, write this down, agent.realestate.com.au. That's our agent marketing center. It's a dedicated platform that we've created to help our customers such as you maximize your subscription with realestate.com.au. There's some amazing tools and resources there. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Don't have a lot of time today, but I definitely write that down, agent.realestate.com.au. So just to sort of close and summarize today, a couple of tips. Make sure you're using social media to start your conversation with customers. There are customers out there that have started their property journey that haven't connected with you. Social media is one tool that can help put you in touch with them. Make sure you're providing relevant content that's important to them. Give some thought to that. That's really important because we want information that's personalized to us. Use some of the tools that are there. Facebook, Instagram Live, stories, retargeting. There's some amazing tools to help put you in touch of this massive audience of new customers and active buyers. And contact the realestate.com.au account manager. They are amazing people. They are experts in terms of social media and retargeting, and they will be able to help you out with all your needs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your time. I've been on this journey now for 3 months, and I talk a lot about social media and the internet, and many people actually say to me, Derek, you talk so much about this. Is paper dead? I say no, paper is not dead, and this is why. Right, thanks very much. You guys have been an amazing audience. Hope to be invited back next year. Have a lovely day.